Fossils in geologic time. Not too big of a unit, but there are a few things that do show up a lot on the SOLs. First of all, we'll talk about geologic time. Make sure you know about the eras and some of the common characteristics of each eras, like the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic. Those do show up, and how that kind of relates to Virginia. Pangea, that's something else, and the way we know Pangea happened was because fossils on different continents match up. The continents themselves match up like a puzzle, and rock layers match up on different continents from when they were all one continent then split apart. Now, on to the other part that shows up a lot on the SOLs, and this is what's called relative dating. Relative dating deals with putting things in order from what happened first, which is going to be at the bottom. See my hand here somewhere. At the bottom. Then the next thing is going to be higher up. The next thing that happened. The next thing that happened, and then the most recent thing is going to be at the top. Or that's the last thing that happened. So with SOLs, it used to be with the old style questions. It would ask which was in a layer of rocks or fossil layers, which one is the oldest? Well, it'd be at the bottom. Then, which one is the most recent or youngest layer? At the top. Well, now the SOL questions where you have to put stuff in order from oldest to youngest. See my hand in there somewhere. So, what you need to know about this is think about like a trash can. If you have a trash can, where's the oldest layer of trash? At the bottom. That's right after, where's my hand? At the bottom. Then the next day's trash is on top, next day's trash is on top, and the most recent layer of trash is at the top. And that's the way you look at rock layers. Rock layers just like trash can. That's what I tell my students at Thomas Dale High School. Think about a trash can. You might have questions like that, asking what's the oldest layer, the youngest layer, the most recent, or the last layer to have formed. It's all going to be the same thing. Now, another thing that shows up a lot with layers of rock is that they all originally formed horizontally. So, think about it. If you dump a bucket of dirt on the ground, is it just going to like have like an angle? Turn my hand kind of sideways. Is it going to just form like a layer like this? No, if you dump a bucket of dirt on the ground, it's going to flatten out. Try to yeah. So we kind of a flat layer. And that's the way rock layers form. Originally, they form horizontally. Now, that might show up in picture form or in word form on the SOLs, and you better believe it's going to show up on my test that way. That's pretty much it as far as layers of rocks and types of questions that can be asked. Something else that might show up on there is how are fossils made? And there's a few things that you need to have happen in order to have a fossil to be made. First thing, animal or plant has to die. Well, that's just kind of common sense. Next is that there has to be some hard part to be fossilized. Well, hair isn't too hard, skin isn't too hard, eyeballs aren't too hard, neither are noses, but teeth, my funny shaped teeth, they are hard. Your bones are hard. So teeth, bones, parts of plants like bark, that's hard. Wood can get fossilized, that's hard. So stuff like that can be fossilized, but not skin, not hair, not cartilage, not muscles. So stuff like jellyfish, we don't have any fossils of, or maybe like one or two. They form in really, really, really rare cases. So next thing is it has to be buried really quickly. And the reason being is because if you think about it, you see a dead animal on the side of the road, well, more than likely something's going to come along and eat it. So it has to be buried really quick so something doesn't come along and eat it, or something doesn't come along and crush it. So there's three main things that has to happen in order for the fossil to form. Animal has to die, that's kind of like duh. Next thing has to be something hard for it to be fossilized. That's why we don't see too many jellyfish fossils. And lastly, it has to be covered up really quickly. So, in all actuality, most of the fossils that we have of animals, of dinosaurs, are animals that died in some kind of catastrophic event, like a landslide, a mudslide, or, in the case of seashells, which are the most common type of fossils, they just live in places where they're going to get buried really quickly. Think about it. When you see a seashell, it kind of rolling around in the surf, well, sooner, if you don't get it real quick, it's going to get buried up by sand. And that's pretty much it for the fossils unit as far as what you can expect to see on my test, along with all the other stuff from the notes, but more importantly what you can expect, or more than likely will show up on the SOLs with respect to fossils. Have a good one.